Hey Free Spirits, Wendy here. Thanks for hanging out with us again, whether you're new or whether you're coming back, welcome back. I'm heading down to the backyard getaway campsite here, and Dave's going to make a couple of alterations on how he attached the deck, attached the tent to the deck, because we weren't really liking the setup that we had. So I'm gonna head down the path, and you're gonna try something new. So thought you might want to come down the path with me. And if you're new, this is our little neck of the woods here in central Alabama. Really filling in. Got a lot of things to to cut back in here, kind of clear out a little bit. But we love this little path. It's actually a little kind of a waterway drainage. So when it rains, that's what its job is. But it also serves as the path for us to come down, and because otherwise the elevation is really high on our driveway, and it's very steep coming up and down. So if this is your first video, here's our backyard hangout that we just had built. A deck and a gazebo and a place to put our tent in the back, a place to hang out, a screened-in porch, and we're also going to put our fire pit back down here so we can come down here and hang out and cook. And we've already been starting to move some things in, some of our camping gear, and so we kind of use the camping gear simultaneously. There's Dave getting the spots ready. And if you saw the last video, and I can put the link to that at the end of the video, where we attached the tent to the deck, we weren't real happy about the way it was coming out, because it was like lifting up and letting, air and water underneath. So we've got whoops, spinning around there. We've got a few things set up here already, getting set up, so that we can start hanging out down here and cooking, and kind of start to sort of move in and use the gazebo more. And I'm going to come over here, Dave, and show everybody what you're going to do. Okay.
Hi everybody. So typically these Skyliner tents are based on tension. So there are these little tabs on the bottom of the tent, and you would stake them in. They would be held tight against the ground. Well, with our setup, if you could see, because the way the loops are, they're not right on the ground. So when the tension is put up, the corners particularly get lifted up because it's a spring bar. It's springing the bar up. It's trying to pull up. And it's creating a gap
and a sag
and it's hard to get it tensioned right up on top.
So when you're coming out of the tent, the zipper is low.
So this pole has to be extended a little bit more, but when I go to extend the pole, it's just pulling the corners out even more. This side is worse than the back side, and I'll just show you quickly because I have another solution, and that's, we basically staked them to the ground or to these hooks, and those hooks actually work pretty well. But what I'm going to do is take down the tent, and I have another idea which I'll show you in a moment about something different instead of
which is actually what you were looking for originally, right, and couldn't find.
And I'll talk about that in a moment. The biggest consideration is not figuring it out and having all kinds of holes and other contraptions in our brand new deck that we don't need. So hopefully this next idea is going to work good. So we'll be back in a few minutes. So here's the solution that I was looking for from the beginning but couldn't find them. This is actually a snowmobile tie-down plate used to put on your trailer, and then there's a big bar that gets bolted down in here with a thing that you spin to tie down the front of your snowmobile to your trailer. This plate, which looks like that, which looks like this, I'm going to drill a hole to fit this nut so the nut is down, and then this bolt with washers is going to hold down the plates on the bottom of the tent. And I have rubber washers also to go between the actual washers and the steel clips that the tent would normally be staked down with. Keeping the nut down so when it's tightened, the pressure is up. Otherwise, if you had it this way, number one, the nut would stick out and you'd be pulling against the welds and the welds would break. So that's the idea. I'm going to take the tent down. There's nothing really in it right now. And disconnect the things. I might have to slide the tent over a little bit to see if we could get them in the same basic spots so we don't have big holes. If not, we'll just leave those brackets in for now, and we'll show you what it looks like when it's done. Or maybe Wendy will record a little bit of me mounting them. That's the idea. I hope it works.
Okie doke. All right. Dave's loosening up the tension around the edges so he can snug this up a little bit more. And that's why we love it back here. And it's the only place on the property that we have now have a level spot to put the tent, because we live on a great big hill. He's thinking about it.
Yeah, because I am not putting a hole all the way through this side. The size, I don't need to.
Okay, we had to make some minor adjustments.
So this is actually going to cut right through the edge. boards aren't perfectly level.
Well, I'm sure they've been, yeah, stretching and shrinking with all this rain.
So I used an 1.25 inch bit, countersunk a little bit, and then a 5/8 because these are 5/8 bolts. And actually these plates, what I wanted to mention, they're normally 1/2 inch, but I found 5/8 inch bolts. So I went with the 5/8 for a little more strength. So I'm going to place this on here.
And we had to do a little bit of movement too because of the...
Yeah, there's a board, a cross member board right here, and I didn't want to be drilling a hole for the bolt to go right into the cross member. So for clearance purposes and stuff, we moved it back a little bit. And the tent has been used for like all last summer, so it's sort of stretchy in weird places. It's not a perfectly straight line. So as best as we can, we're gonna get these mounts to be straight and then hopefully pull the tent to be a little more straighter. But that's what we're doing now. I'm going to drill a couple small pilot holes and then put some screws in the corners and move on from there. This is not the best side for this. I'm going to use those big washers on the corners. So I got a bunch of these neoprene washers to go between there. A big washer and a lock washer. That's the idea.
I think that lays much flatter, much better than the carabiners.
Yep. Yeah, that's gonna.
Yeah, and that's going to keep the corners down, I think, much better.
So.
Well, I'm glad you found what you were looking for to begin with.
I have to get. I need a bigger ratchet. This is the 3/8. I need a 1/2 inch. And then I'm gonna get the same measurement off of the gazebo area, mount this one on that corner, pull it, and then the middle ones are in a slightly different measurement because these stick out and these are at an angle. So hopefully it will be good.
Awesome. I'm excited.
But yes, this idea seems to work a lot better, and we'll see how it works.
Excellent. Okay, so we had some rain come in last night and this morning, so we had to put the tent back up before we could finish all the way around. So that's where we left off yesterday. Got all of the front anchors in. However,
You can see that without these anchors on this side, the way the tent works and the way the tension pulls up on everything, that the entire tent is wanting to pull up. So I've got 2 more brackets which I'm going to put in the corners, and hopefully that will help maybe eliminate the issue altogether, but if not, you might have to get more brackets. So we were talking about how much the brackets cost, and I figured it out. Each bracket, the brackets, the washers, the screws, $25 a bracket. The corner ones are $29 because the bigger washers cost a couple extra dollars, $4 extra for those bigger washers. So,
and how many anchors are there?
and there are 1, 2, 3, 4,
Isn't
5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
like 18
10,
or
11, 12, 13.
or
19.
19
There are 19
times
tie down
$25.
So way more expensive than we wanted to do. Which is why we tried
Well, that's
these other
kind of disturbing, actually.
So hopefully,
just so we could have a flat place to put our tent. Wow, that's some expensive fun. I guess like RVing and stuff.
So
wow.
If I need to get more, I guess we'll get more. But these seem to work well. And now you just loosen these, take these bolts out, and tent comes off. You don't have to crawl underneath.
Well, we got some more storms coming this weekend, unfortunately, being a holiday weekend. Yeah, we were hoping to be able to be sleeping in here tonight, or this weekend, but we'll have to play it by the weather.
So, from the rain and this being up so high, the tarp has actually got wet from the wind blowing in. So now, even though I'm going to get these corner brackets in, once it dries up outside and it's not going to rain for a little bit, I'm going to have to take the tent down again and pull it off and let stuff dry. So that's what we're going to do now. We'll continue this video later.
So yeah, we'll catch up in the next video with how everything turns out. And remember, of course, there's joy in every journey, and the word journey begins and ends with the word joy. Happy travels, everyone. Or backyard camping.